This video is on how to factor a quadratic expression. You will need at least 3 to 4 different colored writing utensils, so please pause the video so you can gather your supplies. We are going to go ahead and start by walking through the steps on how to factor. The first thing that we are going to do is go ahead and fill in the 2 corners of our generic rectangle. So with one color, we're going to go ahead and do that. We are going to start with 3x squared. Your x squared is going in the bottom left, and your 1's going in the top right. The next step in a new color is going to go ahead and set up that diamond problem. In order to set up that diamond problem, we're going to go ahead and need to multiply that diagonal, and that's going to give us a 24x squared. That 24x squared goes in the top of our diamond problem, and then we need the sum to go in the bottom, which is 10x. In a new color, we're going to go ahead and find the sides to fill in the rest of our generic rectangle. So I need to think of all the ways that I can go ahead and multiply to 24. So in green, you can see all the different ways to multiply to 24. Now I need to pick the one that will give me a sum of 10, and the answer is 4 and 6. So I'm going to go ahead and have 4x and 6x. Now I'm going to take that 4x and 6x, I'm going to put them into my generic rectangle, and it doesn't matter where I put them. But I'm going to go ahead and put the 4x on the bottom and the 6x up top. In a new color, I'm going to use my great mind to find the factors of the generic rectangle. So basically that's asking us to find the outside of my generic rectangle. So I'm going to go ahead and start in the bottom left. To get x squared, I need x times x. But now I got to figure out how to multiply to 3. And that's 1 and 3. But where's the 3 going to go? For this example, it is going to go in the bottom on the base of my generic rectangle, because the 3 will multiply nicely to give me that 6x at the top if I were to go ahead and multiply it by 2. X times 4 then would give me the 4x that I would need on the right-hand side. The way you can double check is to look at your top right square. 2 times 4 does in fact give me 8. Now this is going to go ahead and give me my product, which is our last and final step, is to just rewrite that in parentheses, starting with our base as 3x plus 4, and then our height as x plus 2. Let's go ahead and do another example following those same exact steps. Our first step was to go ahead and fill in the 2 corners from our quadratic expression that we know. And so we're going to start with our 6x squared going in the bottom left and our 12 going in the top right. The next thing that I needed to do was set up my diamond problem by first multiplying this diagonal, which is going to give me that 72x squared. Now that 72x squared is going to go in the top of my diamond problem, while the 17x goes in the bottom. That is my sum. The next step was to find the sides of my diamond problem. So I'm going to first list the ways to multiply to 72. The list in green shows the different ways to multiply to 72. Now I have to pick the combination that would add to 17x. And it is this last one, 8 and 9. So I'm going to go ahead and fill in my diamond problem with 8x and 9x and put that into my generic rectangle. Remember, the 8x and 9x can go in either of those empty rectangles. Now the next step is to find the factors of our generic rectangle. So I'm going to start again in that bottom left-hand corner with our x squareds. So I need an x and an x. Now to multiply to 6, I have a couple different options. I have 1 and 6 and 2 and 3. Now if I were to use the 1 and 6 combination, 6 doesn't multiply nicely into 8 without using a decimal, and 6 doesn't multiply into 9 without using a decimal. So that automatically eliminates the 1 and 6 combination. So then our next option is to use the 2 and 3. So for this, the 2 is going to go on the bottom and my 3 is going to go on the left-hand side because 2 multiplies nicely into 8x by multiplying by 4. And the 3 multiplies nicely into the 9 by multiplying it by 3. Now this brings us to our last step, which is just to write our product, which is 2x plus 3 and 3x plus 4.